for
Yeah,
you.
that's totally fine with me.
All right, Christina, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Yeah, hi Jordan. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Just really generally with the meet this weekend, with the level of competition you're going to face just starting the season, what are some of the top things you're hoping to learn about the team that you have in this first meet?
Well, I mean, we're really excited. I feel like this is just a great first competition for us. I mean, to start this strong at this level of competition and be asked to do this meet by ESPN. I mean, that's a great opportunity for us to be on podium right out of the gates. And I think, one of our goals and what I really want to see from the team is just a strong, solid start. I mean, I keep telling them we don't need to be perfect this weekend. We just need to start strong and do what we've been training. I mean, this team has prepared so well. They're looking really good. They're so confident right now. So if we can show that in our season debut in Oklahoma City, I'll be really proud and excited. And we have some new people in lineups, and whether they be transfers or freshmen. So hoping to see them, prove their readiness and their ability to contribute to the team and the program. So just hoping for a really strong start this weekend.
We've heard that the team's theme this season is more, which is pretty self-explanatory, but in your words, just what does that mean for this team and how have you conveyed that to them?
Yeah, well, that word really came from, me just listening to what things they were saying after last season and sort of into the preseason. I was very conscious to hear like how are they thinking about last season? Because it was a historic season for Arkansas gymnastics. I mean, we achieved program records and program scores and obviously making it to nationals was a huge deal. And so really as a coach, you're wanting to know, hey, are they really proud of that and feeling relaxed and complacent, or are they fired up? And a lot of the language we heard after last season was, well, we're really proud of that season and everything we accomplished, but they weren't exactly satisfied with the way that we performed in that last meet at nationals. And so their goal is, we don't just want to make it to nationals again. We want more for this program. We want to keep achieving and not just be at nationals, but show up there and be ready to compete and make a run for that national championship. And so that's all from the team. Obviously, as coaches, you hope for that mindset, but that's really been their main vibe. And so that word more just really stood out to me. And we've kind of taken it and ran with it. And it's an acronym for a few different things. But it's sort of fueled everything that we've done. And the main message is if you want to achieve more, like you have to be willing to do more. Everything has to be a little bit more important than it was before. And that could be something so small or something really big. But that has sort of led the team through this preseason, and that is our mindset.
Courtney, why don't you go next?
Yeah, hey coach. I actually want to touch on something that you just mentioned right there, which was that you have seven newcomers. And so, what have you seen from that group so far? What have you liked about them? Where do they need to what do they need to work on before you start the season?
Yeah. Well, we kind of have a mix of everything. We've got two transfers that came in. One's a fifth year, one's a sixth year. So, in those two, we're seeing a lot of maturity and just readiness for competition because they've been there and done that. And I feel like both of them will be really reliable competitors and just give some maturity to those lineups. And then, the other five being freshmen, obviously, Jocelyn is kind of the standout star of that class. And coming off of an Olympic run and being world champion last year. Like there's just a lot of buzz around her, and she's really living up to that hype and that buzz. I will say she's such a great teammate and a hard worker, and her gymnastics is really it's a big shift going from elite gymnastics to college gymnastics. I mean, the focus is entirely different, away from difficulty and more towards perfection. And so that is kind of her shift in mindset, and she's doing a really great job at that. So I'm excited to see her compete. And then, we have a handful of other freshmen who, we may see contribute in a couple events here and there throughout the season. Obviously, we've got a lot of great experienced competitors in our senior class. So in order for them to get those lineup spots, they're going to have to really prove that readiness. So you may see them at first in exhibition spots, and then, we'll see what they can do. But they've all been doing a great job and performing well in inter squads. So our lineups will definitely change a lot throughout the season because our depth is very strong right now.
wanted to ask a quick question to you before I turn it over, kind of just more about you and less about really the team. But you got to do participate in the Fox Special Forces show, and it airs. The first episode airs tonight, and so I kind of want to ask you about your experience in that. I saw a promo of you where it was like, "This is so tough," and it, I mean, it is. But kind of tell us, for people that don't really understand, what you had to go through and how excited you are for the first episode to be seen tonight.
I'm more nervous than excited to see it. I mean, reality TV is not my thing, and it's definitely a big risk. But when I got asked to do Special Forces, it was like right after the season ended, and they're like, "Well, filming would be in May," so it was a very quick turnaround, a very quick decision I had to make. But at the end of the day, I was like, this is a really cool opportunity. It happened to be at the time, like right after finals week, where the team was home. The filming was only 10 days long, max. And so it just was like a really cool opportunity that I feel like I couldn't say no to. And essentially, there were 16 of us, celebrities, cast members, whatever you want to call us, that were sort of thrown into this Special Forces recruit training. And it was filmed in Wales. And, we really didn't know, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. It was I'll say it was very challenging mentally, physically, emotionally. It definitely was like nothing I've ever done before, but a really cool experience. And I'm definitely nervous to watch it back because, I mean, being at that pushed at that level mentally and physically, like really makes you feel very vulnerable. And for me, like I'll just say I'm not a water creature whatsoever, and majority of the challenges were based around water. So I'll just put that out there as a disclaimer. That I did my very best in the water. But I'm not strong in the water.
Like, I mean, when you were trying to jump on that chopper, I was like, I am hooked. I'm here for this. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. So I bet everyone's excited. Have you taken any things from the show and kind of has it made you a better coach in a weird way? I mean, has there life lessons? I mean, obviously there is going to be, but has it made you better doing what you're doing now?
I think the biggest thing and I kept thinking about this while I was there is like I think it's such a great example for our student athletes to see their coach, getting out of their comfort zone and challenging themselves, just like I ask our athletes to get out of their comfort zone and challenge themselves every day. So I wanted to be a model of that, like regardless of how well I did in the show. So that was that. And when you're the only people we had contact with besides the other cast members were the four directing staff, which is, these military special forces guys who are very experienced, but they're tough. And, a lot of the things that they demanded were based around like details and discipline and taking responsibility for not just yourself, but your team as well. And all of that just resonated with me so much as a coach. And just sort of like reemphasized, those levels of discipline that are required for any athlete or and especially in the military. So I took a lot of things from that as well.
Perfect. That's all for me. Thank you so much, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Tom, we'll go to you.
Sounds good. Hey, Jordyn, you had so many 197s last year, school record, obviously. What to get that extra quarter point, third point to get to 198? What does it take to reach that point?
I think it's all the little things that add up. It's stuck landings, it's details. Obviously, like building our difficulty on vault will contribute to that. But I look back on our team last year, and when we did score the 198, we didn't perform magic on anything. We were just sort of normal, and everything kind of was put together on a really great night. And so, I look at the team we have now, where we've got more talent than we did last year. They're more competitive than they were last year. They're more experienced. So I have no doubt that we should be able to reach those numbers again, not only once, but hopefully multiple times. That's one of the goals for the team this year. But it's all the little things that add up. It's the 1/10 step, that you see from five people, and there you go. There's your 198. So hopefully that level of quality and those scores can be just more consistent throughout the season, and we're able to reach that point more often.
You mentioned you had more depth. Do you know, or are you close to knowing what your lineup is going to be for the opener? And like, what's the mix between veterans, returning gymnasts and the newcomers?
Yeah, I mean, we had our last practice here today, but we do have podium training in Oklahoma City on Friday, and so we'll make, all the final decisions about the lineups after that. We're definitely close. Like we have narrowed down really our top 8 on every event, and then just narrowing that from 8 to 6 will be really based on how they look in training on the podium, and just who's like feeling really confident. And we've got a really good mix of newcomers and experienced competitors. That's really what one of the main things we're thinking about because we could compete our veterans all season and our young ones wouldn't get many opportunities and they need to be ready for next year especially. So we're going to try to balance that really well, as much as we can. I mean, after this first meet, we've got 3 meets in 7 days. We're away at Auburn and then we're home twice in a row in 1 week. So our depth is going to be needed, and our young ones are going to get those opportunities. It's just a matter of when and who's feeling good on what day. So we're getting close. We've narrowed it down to really top 7 or 8 on each event, and then we'll finalize after podium training.
Cool. My last thing is, how are you doing from a health standpoint?
Oh, I'm doing great. Oh, me or the team?
The team, but I mean, after
Okay.
what you did in Wales, maybe you too.
Yeah. You said you, so I was like, I'm fine. You don't need to ask about me. The team's great. I mean, we have a couple little things here and there. Lauren Williams is still a question mark for us because she had an off-season elbow injury, that she's able to come back fully on beam and floor. But vault has been a slower recovery, so we're not sure about her yet. And then Maddie Wellagora, she's our transfer from Alabama, who has so much competitive experience. And starting out the season, she'll be on bars, and then hopefully we can add in beam and floor from there. So we're getting her healthier, but for the most part, the team's in a great place health wise.
Thanks.
Robin, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. So I know you talked a lot about the newcomers, but you have a lot of depth from the veterans as well, and one in particular from Frankie Price. What are you hoping to see from her last year, especially what she was able to do on floor and even on the vault?
Yeah, I mean, Frankie is training the best I've seen her right now, and that's hard to believe just considering she's just been a fantastic contributor. I think the biggest difference I've seen in her is vault and the level of quality of her landings. That's always been the hardest thing for her. I mean, she has this beautiful big Uchenko full, and then it was hard for her to stick. We saw her stick cold in our preview meets, and then just in practice this week, she stuck a few vaults. So she's really challenging herself to do that, which has been great. And then, on top of that, she's really stepping up as a strong leader for the team and just being a great example in so many ways. So I'm excited about Frankie, and her floor routine is like next level. I mean, it was good before, but it just has gotten even better. And it's really fun. So I'm excited for people to see her performance quality this year again.
Also, you have other vets as well coming back. What are you hoping to see from some of your returners and hopefully be leaders like Frankie has been for some of the new girls?
I mean, I'm just hoping to see them build off of last year. We had so many standout performers. Leah Smith, she's been great for us. It's her senior year. Maddie Jones, who really had her best year last year so far. So on 3 events, and she had a little sprained ankle about a month and a half ago, so she got a little behind in her preparation, but she's just now kind of hitting her stride this last week. And so she should be coming around and looking similar to how she was last year and hopefully continue to get better. Cami Weaver's been great for us this preseason. So just, seeing them do not just as well as they did last year, but even better, and just finding those half tenths wherever we can get them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions for Coach? Anybody can just interject if they do.
Yeah, Jordyn, the remainder of the field, can you talk about who you're up against and what the quality is going to be in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, I mean, we have a strong session. There's 3 sessions of 4 teams. It's all based on seeding from the final results last season. So we're the top seed in that middle session with UCLA, Kentucky, and Ohio State. So it'll be a strong start for us, but I have no doubt that if we do what we're capable of doing, and we should come out on top in that session. If our team performs the way I know they can. So I don't really pay attention to a lot of other teams and how they're looking. I don't watch a lot of other gymnastics. I just try to keep my focus on Arkansas and our team and preparing them. And that'll be my focus at the meet, just really staying in our bubble and focusing on us. and creating our own energy. Excuse me.
Anything else from anybody? All right. Well, thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We will see you certainly back on Zoom throughout the season and hopefully at Bud Walton.
Thanks, Jordyn.
Thanks, guys.
Jordyn, congratulations as well.
Thank you.